Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Now, as a big fan of little PCs, it's regretful I don't test more of them. So when Minisforum got in touch and asked if I wanted to review their Elite Mini B550, I just couldn't say no. At first glance, this mini machine looks great. It would look fantastic on top of any desk, and it's ideal for anyone with a little less space to spare. There's also the option to completely transform it into a more capable gaming system thanks to the included PCI Express GPU mounting dock. Using the included frame, dock, screws and cables, the Elite Mini can support full-size 2-slot graphics cards. This isn't some sort of expensive extra. Everything you need to do this comes included in the package, and so does this snazzy orange carry case. You will have to hook up your own ATX PSU of course, but more on that later. Firstly, I want to talk about this system as it is straight out of the box. There are a few options to choose from. You can choose to buy the bare bones kit without a CPU, RAM or storage, with a CPU but no RAM or storage, or ready to go like this one, which includes a Ryzen 7 5700G, 16 gigs of 3200MHz DDR4 in dual channel, and a 512GB M.2 SSD. There's also space for a 2.5-inch SATA SSD as well, if you want to add even more storage, plus there's an extra M.2 slot. The Elite Mini is powered by a 120 watt power brick when an external GPU isn't attached. If you buy the bare bones version, then I should let you know that it supports Ryzen 4 and 5000 series CPUs with a TDP of lower or equal to 65 watts. With the included 5700G, even when gaming, it's very quiet. It's a nice break from listening to noisy desktop stock coolers all day actually, like a vacation for my ears. Around the back of the unit we've got all the ports and connectors you could want, including a display port and 2 HDMI connections. It supports multiple monitors, and I found that the second HDMI port is really useful because I was able to hook up my capture box and record gameplay with minimal effort. And while we're on the subject, let's talk about that. The Ryzen 7 5700G is an 8-core 16-thread APU with integrated Radeon graphics. As with most of these APUs, it's the onboard GPU that proves to be the limitation. There are no issues from a processing power perspective, but it's important to be reasonable with your expectations when not using a discrete graphics card. That said, it is still quite impressive, especially when you think about what gaming with an iGPU used to be like years ago. Unbearable is a word that comes to mind. The 5700G, on the other hand, can even run big open-world AAA games with carefully considered settings. It's no doubt best suited to esports titles and maybe slightly older games. The likes of Overwatch, CSGO and Fortnite come to mind. In those situations, it does more than offer acceptable performance. It offers a truly playable frame rate, one that allows you to also be competitive. I tried a mixture of titles today, ranging from the aforementioned esports games to more demanding releases like Cyberpunk and Elden Ring, which, while they needed some tweaking, I was still able to get a plus 30 FPS average from this Ryzen APU. There's something intriguing about being able to play games with no graphics card. It's why I make so many gaming without a discrete GPU videos, because it's surprising to see just what these chips can manage, especially a top-end one like this. Even during my 5 or so hours of gaming, the Elite Mini didn't get very noisy. I can hear the fan, but it's not loud by any means. I was a little concerned with the CPU temperature at first, but after doing some research, this seems normal for this processor. It's designed to operate safely at up to 95 degrees, and we're nowhere near that. So, as it is right out of the box, it's a great little unit. It looks good, it can play games, and if you're limited on space yet you don't want to sacrifice computing performance, this might be just what you're looking for. But now, it's time for the transformation. This isn't even the Elite Mini's final form. Opening up the side cover reveals a connector. This slots into the mounting dock, and with a little bit of self-assembly, it's not long before we've got ourselves some extra space for a discrete graphics card. Now, while I'm showing you this footage, I want to talk about my experience so far with Minisforum. Since sending this out, they've been in constant communication with me. What I'm about to say isn't just for the sake of being nice or trying to please anyone, but it's clear that they have been listening to and acting on user feedback, which is just nice to see. For example, there are a couple of little things that need improving. To make the external GPU dock work, you need to hook up your own power supply. I couldn't use my Seasonic one because this little clip didn't line up with the holes in the plastic. There were some white PSU cables included, but I'm pretty sure you can't mix and match modular power supply cables unless you can be sure the pinouts match on the PSU end, so I didn't use them. I decided to use my non-modular Enermax instead, which did have a 24-pin power connector that fit. I've been told that this plug is going to be altered with the retail unit, so they've taken the feedback on board. I've been told they're also working on a PSU mounting system as well, so that it's got somewhere proper to sit. After hooking up my PSU, I decided to slot my RTX 3050 into the PCI Express slot. The 5700G can of course handle a lot more, but I thought the 3050 just looked really cool here considering it's almost the same length. This was a vanity-based decision. Plus, I wanted to take a more budget-focused approach. I imagine you're going to see a lot of these systems paired with 6800s or 3080s, so I wanted to show you something from a more mid-range perspective. I had no issues setting this up. The ATX PSU replaces the need for the included power brick. It's not needed at the same time. The PSU powers the whole unit. I'm happy to report that turning it on and installing the NVIDIA drivers went very smoothly. There were no compatibility issues or anything. In the words of Todd Howard, it just works. Jumping back into a few more demanding games, a few that we tested with the 5700G previously, and we can see that the performance is, as expected, much improved. I then disabled the Radeon graphics in Device Manager because one or two games selected the onboard GPU as the default. From taking this machine out of the box to setting it up and gaming with it, I can't believe how smoothly everything went. I'm the sort of person that when faced with the task of building something, anything, or trying to set something up, I usually have problems. If something exists that can be broken, I usually break it. But not with this. I'm excited for the retail release and to see how the proposed changes like the new PSU dock and improved power connector have been implemented. But even as it is, I think this is possibly one of the most interesting and intriguing pieces of hardware I've looked at. Even without a discrete graphics card, it's a great little machine, but the ability to upgrade it, whether that's with more RAM, extra storage, a different CPU or an external GPU, makes this Elite Mini all the more fascinating. I'll leave a link to the product page below if you want to check it out and read more about it. There's also some FAQs as well as an information section too. As for this video then, well, thank you for watching. Thank you to Minisforum for sending this to me. As always, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like down below. Leave a dislike if you didn't. Let me know what you think of the Elite Mini B550 in the comments section. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and hopefully I will see all of you in the next one.